Hi, my name is Andra Tianyi, badge number 92411, and I'm here to do a book review on a book called From Russia with Love, written by Ian Flemings. From Russia with Love is a book written about the British intelligence spy known as James Bond, or rather Agent 007, who worked for the British Secret Service, or also known as MI6. Most of the book is written in Russia, where the Soviet, then known as the Soviet Union, had a counter-secret service to the British known as the SMERSH. I hope I'm getting that right. SMERSH. So SMERSH were planning a terrorist attack towards, if I'm not wrong, the British. So for them to do this, they had to target one of the British spies known as James Bond, because with him still being part of the British agency, he could easily soil their plans. And they knew James Bond was a very capable man, because he before has shown that he had effortlessly defeated 3 of their spies. This was Le Chiffre, Mr. Big, and the third one was Hugo Grant, who he had defeated prior, and those 3 were ranked as one of the top agents in the Soviet Union, the Secret Service, the SMERSH. So what the Soviets decided to do was actually to send James Bond the big guns, someone who they knew could easily handle him, and this was by the form of Hugo Grant, who they used to refer to as the executioner. Now, Hugo Grant's backstory is very interesting, in that they say that he was a psychopath, but his homicidal urges used to come from the full moon, which was very interesting to my perspective, but a very good plotline. So what the Soviets did was to send to James Bond. So what the Soviet Secret Service did, the SMERSH, so what they did was they sent an agent by the name of Tatiana Romanova, very beautiful agent, to encounter James Bond and lure him into their plans. So what Tatiana Romanova was told by her head was Rosa Kelp. Rosa Kelp now was one of the heads in the Russian SMERSH company. She was actually the one who executed all these plans to get James Bond down and defeat him. So what she did, she sent Romanova to James Bond. So what Romanova was supposed to do was to tell James Bond that she fell in love with him magically through seeing past photos of him, and also she told her that if James Bond was to meet with her, she would also give him a certain decoding device held by the Russians that the CIA, that the MI6 really needed. That the MI6 really needed. So what happened is James Bond actually told the MI6 what Romanova had proposed. And although MI6 wasn't very sure if Romanova's intentions were good or not, they just went ahead with good or not. James Bond's superior M actually ordered Mr. Bond to go to Turkey and meet with Romanova. On his way to Turkey, James Bond met MI6 agent there by the name of Draco Kerm. So Draco Kerm and James Bond actually became very good friends. They became very fond of each other at first sight. So they easily talk to each other and actually very good friends. So as they boarded the plane, they realized there were Soviet agents on board, and so there were Soviet agents on board. So Draco tried to use his influence in Turkey and all that, and money and all that, to, and he was able to discard two of the agents. But later James Bond found out. But later in the book or when in the plane, we find out that Draco and that James Bond finds Draco and the third MI6 agent actually killed. He finds the bodies of that Draco and the MI6 agent killed in the it's called what, in the plane bathroom. Yeah. Okay, and so now when they landed at Trieste. Another MI6 now agent came to Bond and told them that he was sent by M to as added protection for them so that they continue with their endeavors to let you properly. But Rovanova knew something was wrong and wasn't trusting the agent fully, but James Bond assured her that it's from M, that this is a very trusted agent from M and it's okay. But later on we find out that James Bond, that the agent wasn't actually from MI6, but it was Red Grant the whole time. And actually find out that he's the one who killed the Draco and the MI6 agent. So now when Draco encounters James Bond, we actually find this out when James Bond is actually waking up in his hotel, and Grant has his gun pointed towards James Bond. And during this time, Grant foolishly tells James Bond all the Soviets' plans and how he's going to kill him by shooting a bullet through his heart. Now this time, as they are conversating, James Bond very smartly takes an ash to a metal cigar, metal cigar case, and folds it in a newspaper nicely and puts it towards his chest. So Draco never realized and actually shot him, and James Bond actually pretended that he was injured and fell down. But when Draco was walking away, James Bond woke up and actually defeated him successfully. Yeah, and when the book ends, we see that Rosa Kelp is actually gotten and taken in, and then when she's gotten, Rosa Kelp, as on seeing James Bond, unleashes a poison blade that she was hiding the whole time and cuts him. This leaves the book ending with James Bond actually gasping for air. Thank you. Okay, I forgot. This is a very beautiful book, and I highly recommend for you to actually attain it. Mine is actually an electronic. Mine is an ebook because this book was written in the 50s, and I really doubt you can get an original copy currently. So please actually purchase it because it's a very good read. I would give it about 9 out of 10. Yeah. Thank you.